Hi, I received admission to the International Master's Program in Machine Learning and Data Mining, which was called back then Macademia, from Helsinki University of Technology in the spring of 2009. Although I applied to the program myself, Finland was largely a land of mystery to me. Perhaps this mystery nature of the country may have been one of the major motivations for me to apply for this program in the first place. In my mind back then, Finland was associated with just a couple of things. For instance, Nokia and Helsinki Olympics. I must confess that I wasn't even aware that Finland shared a border with Russia. Unsurprisingly, going to Finland to study was definitely not what I had in my mind until one of my friends then handed me the brochure of the Macademia program in the winter of 2008. The very first lecture I attended in Helsinki University of Technology, which was about to be merged with the other two universities to form Aalto University back then, was the course called Machine Learning Basic Principles. This course was taught by Dr. Tapani Raiko, who had advised and mentored me for the next 5 years and who I still continue to admire and keep in touch with. In the very first lecture of the course, I could immediately tell that I made the right choice to be there to study machine learning. And to this day, I still believe I made the right choice to be there at Aalto University to study machine learning and data mining. As a part of the Macademia program, some students were assigned to some of the labs within the department, which was back then Information and Computer Science, or ICS in short, to assist in research 1 day a week with a small amount of stipend. The master's program was still free to anyone from anywhere in the world back then in Finland, which I sadly learned recently that is not the case anymore. Without tuition-free education, my decision to come to Finland to study in Aalto University may have taken a very different course. Anyways, I was assigned to base group, which I do not believe exists anymore, and despite this name, had a longer history of research in neural networks. The group back then was led by Professor Juha Karhunen, who I believe had recently retired, together with Tapani and Professor Alexander Ilin, who recently made a comeback to Aalto to rebuild the base group, however, with the new name, Deep Learning. This part-time research gig at the then base group, which started in September 2009, was the beginning of my research career that is still ongoing. I often wonder what I would have become had it not been for this program, called the honors program back then, if I remember correctly. Had it not been for me to be assigned to the base group, or had it not been for me to be advised by Tapani and Alexander, it's simply unimaginable. 5 years later, in March 2014, I defended my doctoral dissertation against my opponent, Professor Nando de Freitas, in front of my friends, colleagues, and supervisors from then newly formed the Department of Computer Science of Aalto University School of Science. Over those 5 years, I spent many days and nights in Marintalo, studying for exams and working on projects. Over those 5 years, I spent many days and nights in the computer science building working toward my dissertation. Over those 5 years, I had an uncountable number of lunches at the cafeterias in the computer science building as well as in the main building. Over those 5 years, I met so many friends and colleagues, many of whom I still keep in touch with. Aalto University gave me an enormous opportunity by bringing me to Finland and giving me rigorous education on machine learning. Furthermore, Aalto University has successfully created an international environment in which I could immerse myself among talents from all over the world and be inspired by them. These were just the beginning of the series of opportunities Aalto University School of Science had given me over those 5 years. My PhD years were generously supported by FIX, the Finnish doctoral program in computational science, which has since discontinued and I believe has been replaced by HICT. Near the end of my PhD program, I was given a chance and support by FIX and Professor Erkki Oja to spend 6 months visiting the University of Montreal to broaden my view and to further learn from the very best in the world. This research visit opened my eyes to a broader set of topics in machine learning. In particular, this visit was how and when I began to seriously delve into studying how machine learning and more broadly AI could be used for and improve natural language processing and machine translation. This research visit led me to join the University of Montreal as a postdoc in a lab which was called LISA back then and is now called Mila, immediately after I defended my dissertation. And now I am an associate professor of computer science and data science at New York University, running my own research lab and trying my best to teach machine learning and natural language processing to aspiring students from all over the world. In my opinion, one of the most important roles served by higher education is to bring the best out of each student. What this implies is that higher education cannot simply shove down knowledge into students. And higher education cannot simply show easy, comfortable, and convenient ways forward to students. Education must strive to provide as diverse and broad a set of opportunities and perspectives to students as possible in order to ensure each and every student has a chance to discover their way forward. What I experienced during my years at Helsinki University of Technology, which then became Aalto University School of Science and Technology, and has eventually become Aalto University School of Science, was precisely this: rigorous and thorough education and a string of educational and extracurricular opportunities within and beyond the wall of the university and even the country's border. It is truly my honor to be named the Alumnus of the Year, and to be frank, I'm quite unsure whether I deserve it. Off the top of my head, I can think of Professor Alexander Ilin, who is now back at Aalto University, as well as Dr. Tapani Raiko, who is now at Apple. And then they are definitely and obviously a better candidate than I am. And no, it's a totally objective list. They just happen to have mentored me throughout my years at Aalto. Well, this is truly my honor. Let me wrap it up by dusting off my finish. Kiitos paljon. Bye-bye.